Check, check. Okay, so just gone live. People logging in, just waiting for you to log in right now. Really excited for today's Facebook Live. Very interesting topic which I want to be talking about is that are you ready to be an entrepreneur? So people are already live. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to just log in right now. If you're live and you're watching, comment. Let me know that you can hear me. Introduce yourself to me. Where are you from? I would really like to know who all are logging in. If you can watch me live, start commenting, introduce yourself. Where are you from? I really like to know where you're from. And hi Gulshan, where are you from, Gulshan? Hi Pooja, hi Venkat, nice to see you. Where are you from, guys? I really want to know where you guys from. From Delhi. Nice to have you here. Everybody else, where are you from? Hi Rohan, you're from Mumbai. Nice to see you. Got that, Gulshan, you're from Delhi. Thank you. As and when you're joining in, would love to know where you're from. Hi Lokesh, nice to see you again. As and when you're joining in, guys, just share where you're from. Like to know from which parts of the country people are logging in. So it's a very interesting topic for today. And the reason why I've chosen this topic because the amount of people who have approached me asking them my advice or my inputs as to what does it take to start a business is not even funny. And obviously because of the events which have happened over the past 3 4 months, which everybody knows, so I'm not going to go into it. The entrepreneurship spark, according to me, has really gone through the roof because people obviously the opportunities they have are going out the window. On the other hand, a lot more opportunities are coming in. So the new world order is setting in, guys, and I thought this is the best time to go out there and share my thoughts about what does it really take to be an entrepreneur and how do you even know that you're ready. Like, do you know that you're up for it? Because it's a like, to be very honest, it's a very glorified title. People have these aspirations and dreams that they want to become an entrepreneur. It seems really cool. It gives you an ego boost. I'm my own boss. I can make a difference. I'm passionate about something. All that is obviously there. But truth to be told, it's not as easy as it sounds. It's not as glorified as it sounds. And I believe that it's very important for you to consider the right time and the right condition you are in to decide if you're willing to take that jump. And it's not just about the money. It's never really about the money. The money is a consequence of a lot of effort and a lot of upskilling. And any successful entrepreneur will always tell you that the tag is a deception unless and until you really live up to it. So that's why I thought, let me go there and do this Facebook Live to really share my thoughts and my insights as to how do you know that you're ready. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's an opportune time because this is a time where a lot of people need to start afresh in terms of winding up what they have and starting something new. And this is also a time where, according to me, a lot of opportunities are going to come out there. So I'm ready to get started. If you're ready to get started and you're excited to learn in this live, please type excited in the comment box. Hi Prasad, nice to see you. Hi Francisco. Hi Nita, nice to see you. Super, nice to hear from you guys. Okay, so just going to wait probably a minute longer before I get started. So I'll tell you where I'm coming from, apart from what I've already shared. Uh, I've had so many discussions with a lot of people current entrepreneurs, people who have been in business for a really long time, and a lot of people have given me very mixed opinions. Is this the right time for us to start? Is this not the right time for us to start? The market is so volatile, people's livelihoods are going, etc., etc., etc. So one thing I'm very clear about when I'm sharing what I'm sharing right now, I promise you this, okay, and take what I'm saying in writing over here. Me giving you these insights on becoming an entrepreneur, whether it is the right time or not, has nothing directly to do with what's happening right now. I just think the timing is right. I mean, according to me, there's no good time or bad time to become an entrepreneur. Of course, there are fluctuations depending upon the kind of idea or the kind of concept or the time of capital you need. But any time is a good time, because for some people, at any time, it's not about today, but there's always a time in the world where someone's struggling and someone's doing well. And it's about entrepreneurship is about making sure that you have the right opportunity, the right capability, and the right need or problem which you want to address, which you can monetize. So time, honestly, I don't think you're ever going to be ready, because it's always going to be an upward curve. I don't think you're ever going to be probably completely prepared for it, because it's always going to be a learning journey. So, but on the other hand, I really believe this, okay, that this time which we're going through, in spite of all the chaos which is happening, is a superb time to really start. Because I've said this before in a lot of my videos, I've said this before in my previous lives also, that I think it's become a level ground of even playing field, which means that a lot of opportunity out there, a lot of talent out there, a lot of capabilities which can be leveraged, because you start from scratch. And no other better time for someone to get into business when they, for a fact that it's a level playing field. If you agree with what I'm saying, or at least you have these thoughts in the past, okay, please type agree in the comment box for me, so I know that you're with me. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. So with that, I'm going to get started right now, because I have a lot of stuff to share with you guys. I have a lot of stuff to give you as insights to answer that one question. Are you prepared to be an entrepreneur? So where am I coming from? It's been about 16 years. I just calculated actually that I didn't realize I had to add 2020, but it's been about 16 years since I've been an entrepreneur. And throughout my journey, I've gone through multiple exposures, multiple business situations. And to be very honest with you, I've started 4 businesses so far. 2 have failed miserably, and 2 have been very successful. So honestly, I've gone through every single grind and every single mistake possible which an entrepreneur can make to really know whether I'm ready or not. When I started off, I was about 20, okay, and little more, less than 20, in fact, over there. If I really asked myself, was I prepared at that point of time? Again, goes back to what I was saying, that you can never be prepared. But I really wish that I could have done a lot more, lots of things differently, because at least in my failed ventures, I sincerely believe that I didn't really evaluate and I didn't really check if I'm ready to get into this business. So I'm going to share my insights with all of you. From there, the journey has been very different. I work with more than 1,000 plus businesses. I've trained more than 5,000 business owners to help them scale up their business. At any given point of time, I'm handholding through my mastermind system at least 750 business owners across more than 180 different domains and different sizes. I have people who I work with who are just about starting off, who don't have a business, and I have people whom I'm working with who are already settled, 30 years old, 40 years old, probably doing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 crore turnover. It's a mixed bag. So when it comes to starting off, what I'm going to share with you is my collective experiences and insights for looking at multiple different businesses and multiple different domains to really give you some practical, simple checklist points for you to consider to check if you're ready. And I'm going to give you 5 areas, to be very honest, 5 areas which you should consider, again, depending on relevance, obviously. But what are these 5 areas which you really need to evaluate to give you the right symptom that are you ready to even consider becoming an entrepreneur? So guys, are you ready to explore these 5 areas? If you are ready, please type ready in the comment section. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. So let me start with the first area. Okay, the first area which you need to consider, and I'm sure this is something which is relevant for a lot of people. And the first area is, are you in a job right now? Now, I want to be very clear with you before I state anything about your job. Having a job is great. Any entrepreneur I'm saying this on record, any entrepreneur who will demean a job can never be a successful entrepreneur. It's my sincere belief. A job is a vehicle, a business is a vehicle. Both vehicles are different. Both vehicles have different destinations, and both vehicles have different objectives. So you cannot compare the two. I really believe an entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur or a business is not for everybody. I really believe even a job is not for everybody. So there's nothing wrong with having a job. On the other hand, what you need to also understand is that a job is not lesser than being an entrepreneur. In fact, there are a lot of advantages of having a job and a lot of advantages of having a business. And that's why it's important for you to really check, are you ready to be an entrepreneur? But if you're in a job and you're thinking about entrepreneurship, I want to share some points with you which you need to consider as a symptom, which will tell you if you're really ready to make the jump into entrepreneurship. So here's my first point. If you're in a situation in a job where you feel that you're not being challenged enough, and let me put things into perspective. When I'm talking about challenge over here, I'm not just talking about your current job. You may have 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years of experience. It doesn't really matter. But no matter what experiences you're going through, if you are in a situation where you feel that you're not being challenged enough and it's not giving you the right kind of challenges, the right kind of obstacles, the right kind of problems for you to solve in a job, as a result of that, your potential is not being completely utilized. You feel that you're getting wasted. You feel that you're becoming mundane. It's becoming monotonous, and it's not going anywhere. You're not feeling that challenge for you to really contribute. According to me, if you've gone through this with multiple situations, I really believe it's a good symptom for you to consider becoming an entrepreneur. And I promise you this sort of experience, there is no other better professional challenge than starting a business. It's the highest level of challenge you will face. And once you start that challenge, it's a series of never ending challenges, because there's always a next level and there's always a new growth for you to achieve. And therefore, it's a lifelong journey of challenges. Symptom number one, if you're in a job and you believe that you're not being challenged enough, if you believe that you're not getting bigger problems to solve in spite of probably jumping jobs over your career, then probably that's a symptom that you are ready to consider becoming an entrepreneur. So that's symptom number one if you're in a job. Another symptom if you're in a job is that if you're not achieving enough growth. When I'm talking about growth over here, I'm talking about career growth. Okay, which means that you're not getting better opportunities, you're not growing in your career, you're not getting more significant responsibility, more high-level responsibility, and you may be growing. That's a different factor altogether, which means that you may be getting challenges, yeah, but you're not growing, which basically means that you're not getting higher responsibilities. It's the same old, depending upon your profession. Then probably it's time you consider entrepreneurship, because when it comes to entrepreneurship, growth is inevitable. Every day, every situation, every decision, every challenge will put you outside your comfort zone. And the minute you are outside, you are in your comfort zone, you will be put in a situation where you need to reinvent for you to evolve your business, because at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, you are responsible to put money on the table, you are responsible to put money in your pocket, and it's completely your responsibility. Unlike a job where no matter what the situation would be, especially not counting the current situations at least, but otherwise the fundamentals of a job is that you will get your salary at the end of the month no matter what. So as being an entrepreneur, growth is a consequence of you becoming an entrepreneur. So if you guys agree with what I said, please type growth in the comment box. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for that. And based on what I'm going to share, I believe we're going to have a lot of questions also. So I'm going to keep some time off at the end of this live to answer your questions. So keep your questions handy. I'm not going to answer any questions right now for sure, but I eventually will answer them. So keep it handy, all right? So just to review, if you're going through a symptom and you're not getting not feeling challenged, or you're going through a symptom where you feel you're not achieving growth, it's a good symptom for you to consider becoming an entrepreneur. Now, the third symptom for you if you're in a job. Let's just say you're not getting satisfaction. Let me tell you what I mean by that. You may be growing, you may be feeling challenged, but you are not enjoying it, which means that you are not aligning with what you're doing. You're not feeling fulfilled with what you're doing. It's troubling you. You have to drag yourself to work every single day. You look at the clock in front of you, and the minute it strikes 6, you want to go home. Yeah. then it's a probable symptom that maybe you want to consider entrepreneurship, because according to you, probably what you're doing is not fulfilling enough. And at the end of the day, it's a big factor for a lot of people today, that maybe they're stuck in their jobs, they may be earning a decent amount of money, they may be achieving growth in their career, they may be achieving challenges and problems to solve on a daily basis, but in spite of that, they're not being fulfilled. Then maybe it's high time that you pick something where you will at least feel like you're making a difference and probably feel a lot more fulfilling. So three symptoms if you are in a job, and the job is area number one. If you're in a job, you're not feeling challenged, you're not achieving growth, or you are not feeling satisfied, then these three parameters could be enough of a symptom for you to consider starting a business. So if people in a job, if you find this useful, please type useful. I'm going to wait for that. Come on. Thank you, guys. So, area number one for you to consider if you are in a job. Now, the second area, whether you're in a job or you're not in a job, another area you got to consider and evaluate to tell you if you are ready. And it does not have to be all these areas, okay? It has to be maybe one of these areas, no doubt about that, okay? So, not all of what I'm saying may be relevant to everybody. You need to see what is relevant. That's why I'm going to give you all five. Now, apart from you being in your current job, another area you got to consider is your passion. I'll tell you what I mean by that. If you have an idea which you are passionate about, okay, this has nothing to do with a job, I'm just saying there's another area, but if you have an area which you are passionate, if you have an idea which you're passionate about, and you believe that idea can solve a significant need for someone or solve a significant problem for someone, and by you addressing that idea, or by you addressing that need, or you solving that problem, you can achieve a profit, you can make money out of it, it can be converted into a business, then I think you can consider becoming an entrepreneur. So the question to ask is this: you have an idea which you're passionate about. Is there something which is giving you sleepless nights? Is there something which is constantly bogging your mind, where you believe you can use that to truly solve someone's problem and can really change the way it is things are operating for someone? Then it's a great symptom for you to consider being an entrepreneur. And I'll tell you why this is very important. Let me give you the definition of business. And before you become an entrepreneur, it's very important for you to constantly remember that the definition of business is what I'm going to say. Business is an activity where you provide goods and services to a customer to address their need or problem in exchange for a profit. And if you believe you have an idea which fulfills you, which you're passionate about, which you really want to do, and it can solve a significant need or problem, then that could be one reason why you believe that you may be ready to become an entrepreneur. So to review, guys, one is that you need to evaluate your job, and second area you got to consider is that you have a passionate idea. The third area you need to consider, okay, apart from you being passionate, is your expertise. So let me put it this way. If you spent a lot of time in a job or in any other profession, and you've gained a lot of expertise through your experience, I repeat, you've gained a lot of expertise through your experience. Experience is not enough. Along with experience, you got to gain expertise. And what I mean by expertise is you've gained enough knowledge, you've gained enough skill through your time of working in a job, and you believe that that expertise can be converted into a business opportunity to provide that expertise to probably a customer, then that's another area for you to consider and evaluate to see if you're really ready to become an entrepreneur. And I really believe this is very critical, because there are so many people out there who, through their careers and through the opportunities because of what they have, they gain so much of expertise. But people have no clue how to convert that experience and that expertise into a business. In fact, just to tell you guys, because, especially in these recent times, the amount of requests I've got about helping people to become an entrepreneur because they have business ideas, because they have a lot of expertise, is numerous. So on the 30th of May, between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m., I'm going to be doing a free webinar. It's called the Business Startup Webinar. And the core focus area of that webinar is to show you what the 4 mistakes which usually people make before starting a business, and to give you insight and what the parameters you got to focus on to really convert your expertise or your business idea into a business. So I'm going to be doing a webinar just for that. to ensure that you are able to convert this passion which you have, or to ensure that you have convert your idea or your expertise into a business. Also to make sure that you're educated on what you should not do before starting your own business. So you can register for that webinar. It's already there in the description, and my colleague is going to pin up the registration link also for you. It's a free webinar. And the reason why I'm bringing this up right now is because expertise is something which people don't utilize in the right way. They believe they're experts, but people don't have any idea as to how to evaluate it. But like I said before, if you believe that you have expertise through your experience, which has helped you to gain knowledge and experience, knowledge and skill, and you see that this has the potential to become into a business, then I really believe that's a serious symptom for you to consider that you're ready to become an entrepreneur. So let me review the 3 areas right now. First area, job. Second area, passion. Third area, expertise. Going to the fourth area of what you need to consider for you to decide if you're ready to become an entrepreneur. And that area is that if there is an idea which is bogging, which you, rather not an idea, that area is probably where you feel that you want to make a larger difference, you want to have a larger impact, and your current job or your current profession is restricting you from reaching out to more people. So if for you, making a difference is a pretty big deal, and you feel that you are not getting that opportunity, opportunity could be because of the potential opportunities you get in your job, or even the money which you need to make for your job to make a difference, then I think becoming an entrepreneur is a very, very significant symptom for you to consider. Because honestly, when you are an entrepreneur and you have a good idea for you to really make a difference, the reach you get as an entrepreneur to make a difference is limitless. And if making a difference drives you, and let me tell you what I mean by making a difference, you get larger impact, you get more reach to make a difference, which means that you can really help more people, you can solve more people's problems, and that is driving you, then you should really, really consider becoming an entrepreneur. Because for a lot of people out there, more than making money, more than solving problems, they want to contribute to people. And obviously being in a job, whatever may be, might have a lot of restrictions on how much of a difference you can make. So if making a difference is a driving factor for you and you're not able to achieve that right now, then maybe you should start a business in that field. So let's review the 4 areas what we spoke about, guys. Area number 1 is job. Area number 2 is passion. Area number 3 is expertise. Area number 4 is making a difference. And area number 5, which you need to consider as a symptom for you to tell you whether that you're ready to be an entrepreneur. And this is something which you really need to evaluate before you consider this to become an entrepreneur. Do you have a unique, I repeat, do you have a unique idea which is an invention, which is maybe an innovation, which has the potential to be groundbreaking, could be path-breaking, could be revolutionary, and probably change the way a certain area of life or a certain area of professional life or a certain area of business, change something about any market completely. Basically, the idea in the form of an invention or an innovation can bring some radical change in the way people do what they do in whichever field or whichever area. Then that's a classic symptom for you to become an entrepreneur, which means that you probably got to work on a business model around it. You got to work on a funding model around it. You got to work on a business plan around it. It can be scaled up and it can revolutionize the way certain things work. Then it's a critical, classical symptom for you to consider that you want to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. But again, you need to be clear that this symptom or this reason or this area which I gave you has a lot of dependency on how unique the idea is. Because I'm not saying that every idea you have needs to be unique. You can start any business which does not have to be unique, but that will depend upon your expertise, because the only way you're going to be able to add value to a customer is if you have expertise in that area. But if you have an idea which is unique, which means that it's an invention or an innovation, then it's another symptom. But you need to be clear. Will it revolutionize something? Will it be path-breaking? Will it be ground-breaking? Will it be a trend setter? Will it change the way a certain area or a certain market or a certain field works? It could be technology-based, it could be non-technology-based. That doesn't matter. So guys, to review, consolidate all the 5 areas which I spoke about, which you need to consider and evaluate to tell you if you are ready to be an entrepreneur. Area number 1, if you are in a job and this job is probably not challenging enough, it's probably not giving you the kind of growth which you want, and it's probably not enabling you to get the kind of satisfaction you want. These 3 symptoms in a job are classic symptoms to tell you that you are ready to become an entrepreneur. That's area number 1. Area number 2, passion. If you have an idea which you are passionate about and you know for a fact that you can solve a significant problem, you can address a significant need, and this passionate idea is something which is keeping you awake and you really want to work on it, then that's the second area you got to evaluate to tell you whether you are ready to become an entrepreneur. Okay. Third area is expertise. Let's just say you have an expertise which you've gained through the experience you've had. And when I'm talking about expertise, I'm talking about knowledge, I'm talking about skill. And you believe with all that expertise, you can convert this knowledge and skill into a business. Then that's a third area you got to consider, your expertise, to tell you that you're prepared to become an entrepreneur. Fourth, if making a difference drives you and you believe in your current capacity, you're not able to make the kind of difference you want to, which means you're not able to get the kind of reach, you're not able to get the kind of impact, and you believe that you can get more impact, then probably starting a business would definitely be a viable idea for you. And finally, if you have a unique idea which is path-breaking, which is groundbreaking, which is based on an invention, which is based on an innovation, and could change the way how something works, any field, any domain, any business, any market, it would create a revolution. Then that's the fifth area for you to consider that you are ready to be an entrepreneur. So with that, if you agree with what I said, okay, and I'm being very honest with you, not all these 5 areas are relevant for everybody, but one of it should be relevant. I'm just giving you a wide horizon of what are the different indicators which you should consider before becoming an entrepreneur. If it makes sense for you, please type "makes sense" in the comment box. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, so now that I've spoken to you about what do you need to consider and evaluate before becoming an entrepreneur, let me focus on right now. Once you make the decision, because whatever I've shared so far is for you to help you think, are you ready? But let's just say you come to a conclusion that you know what, I think I'm ready. What do you need to be prepared for? Because I want to be very honest with you guys. A lot of people become an entrepreneur because they want that title. A lot of people become an entrepreneur because they feel it's cool. A lot of people become an entrepreneur because they feel that it's an identity they want to carry. But you go ask any successful entrepreneur, you go ask any unsuccessful entrepreneur, they will tell you the same thing. It's not a rosy picture, it's not a ride in the park, it's a completely different world. So my intention of sharing what I'm going to be sharing with you is not to ensure that I scare you guys away, but it's just to also let you know that you need to be prepared for certain things before you make the jump. Yes, are you ready is one part. What you need to be prepared for is another part. So what do you need to be prepared with for you to become an entrepreneur? So straightforward. You need to be prepared with money reserves. Very important factor for you to consider. I'll tell you what I mean by money reserves. I'm not saying you got to have a lot of money in the bank, okay, but you got to have enough money for you to survive. I'll tell you what I mean. You're right now, if you're in a job, then obviously your family has a direct dependency on you. Once you become an entrepreneur, it's not going to be easy. You're not going to start making money from the word go. There's going to be a lot of trial and error. There's going to be a lot of experimentation. There's going to be a lot of innovation. There's going to be a lot of reinvention, and earning money consistently will become a challenge. So you got to make sure that there's no direct dependency on you for some time for you to survive. And that could be a function of your savings, that could be a function of your investments, that could be a function of any kind of alternate source of income. Let's just say your husband or your wife is already working and they can kind of take over for you for some time. Because I'm telling you, if you do not have an alternate source of, you do not have any kind of alternate dependency on money for, you will get harrowed, you will get depressed, because it's not an easy journey. You got to have a reserve, some sort of, your life should not stop just because you're taking the step of entrepreneurship. And guys, this is a very serious factor, because I've seen a lot of people in that josh, they get carried away and they start making declarations to themselves that, you know what, I'm going to go be an entrepreneur and I'm going to take life as it comes, and my passion will make me successful. Please guys, don't be in deception, don't lie to yourself. Let's be real. It's a lot of effort. it takes, and I'm not saying you will not make a lot of money by becoming an entrepreneur. If you really want to build wealth, entrepreneurship is the engine. There's no two ways about that. But you also got to be prepared for going through that mountain and coming on the other side, because entrepreneurship is like that. And you ask any business owner, money does not come easy in the beginning. Only when you get things right, that's when it's going to come to you. If what I'm saying is making sense and you feel that it's something for you to consider, please type money reserve in the comment box. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. So, apart from money reserve, what else you need to consider? Okay, you need to consider and be prepared for the fact that you will not make consistent income. You need to understand this very, very clearly. There's a very big difference between a job and a business. In a job, you are not responsible for giving you money on the table. Your boss is responsible for that. You're responsible for doing your work every single day. You're trading in your money. You're trading in your time for the money you get. Your performance comes secondary. Okay. Bottom line, it doesn't work that way in business, which means that at least when you start, till you get it right, till you make sure that everything which is responsible for your business to make money for is taken care of, your income will not be consistent. The question, are you okay with that? Now, this has nothing to do with money reserves. This has to do with the fact that people start getting flustered. Even though they have a backup in the form of money, people start getting flustered, start getting agitated, probably start getting anxious and nervous because they're not getting consistent amount of money. Now, you got to be prepared for that, because I'll be very honest with you. Sometimes I've seen so many people, because they're not making consistent money, in 1 or 2 months itself, they start deciding that, you know what, probably this is not for me, or probably this is not something I should have considered, or probably I can't take it. And I'm telling you, if you are that kind of person, maybe you're going to think twice about becoming an entrepreneur, because it's going to happen whether you like it or not. You are going to face a lot of inconsistencies. So can you swallow that? Do you have the humility to crush your ego and say that just because you are not making money consistently doesn't equal to you're not going to be successful? It is a journey, guys, and that journey ultimately requires for you to go through the grind. So you got to be prepared with having inconsistent income. This is nothing to do with money reserves. It's a matter of you reconciling with the fact that that's the way it's going to be till you reach a stage where you know for a fact you're in control. Okay. So if you're willing to go through inconsistent income, please type inconsistent income, because you need to be prepared for that. So type inconsistent income, my friends. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. So another factor which you got to be prepared for when you make a decision to be an entrepreneur, you got to be willing to invest, because I'm telling you this, business works on the psychology of investment. As you sow, so you reap. 100%. There's no two ways about that. And when I mean investment, I'm not just talking about money. Of course, you will have to invest money, because as an entrepreneur, any person understands that business is a game of return on investment. You will get returns only when you invest, period. But it's not about just investing money. It's about investing money, investing time, investing efforts, investing energy, physical energy, mental energy, emotional energy, effort which can never be quantified. There will be times where you will put in so much effort which you've never done in your life before. And there'll be times where you will think that, okay, I don't even know what I'm doing, because you don't know what to do. All these are phases you will go through when you start off, especially when you start off. Investment of time, money, effort, and energy. Bottom line, you need to be willing to invest. If you're not willing to invest, it's not going to be entrepreneurship, because business is a game of return on investment, which means first you got to invest. So you got to be prepared for the investment, my friends. So if you're ready for that, if you're ready to become an entrepreneur, you got to be willing to invest. If this makes sense for you, please type investment in the chat box. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate that. So, two things which I mentioned to you. You got to have a money reserve, which means the dependency should not be on you. Second thing is that you got to be willing to invest time, money, effort, energy. And the third thing which I said is that you got to be ready to face inconsistency in income. And the fourth thing you got to be prepared for is that you got to have a completely different mindset. Okay, you cannot have the stability mindset or the consistency and the security mindset which will happen when you have a job. Your mindset needs to be completely different. Let me explain to you what I mean. I promise you this, guys, your insecurity will go through the roof because you will not have security. Once you become an entrepreneur, you are completely responsible on your own for you to make yourself successful. You need to earn your income. It is not a given, it is not your right. You got to earn it, which means that you will have insecurity, you will have an ego crash. Because I've seen so many people who worked in high profile jobs for 10 years, 15 years, and they come from this background that they are the VP, they are the general manager, they are the head of departments, CEOs. But once they become an entrepreneur, all that title fizzles down because it's not the same game. The game is completely different. And because the game is different, the rules are different. So you got to be willing to have a different mindset to swallow your ego and accept what you don't know so that you can explore, so that you can learn and bridge that gap because it's not the same game. So you have to have the mindset of being okay with being insecure, being okay with being uncertain, being okay with swallowing your ego and accepting that maybe there are certain things you're not good enough with. And you can't hide behind that tag of I am an entrepreneur. It's a deception, my friends. And I'm telling you, take what I'm saying very seriously right now. I'm going to make a statement to you guys. If a batsman is as good as the runs he or she scores, an entrepreneur or a business owner is as good as the money he or she makes. Until you reach there, it's going to become a journey where your identity will be questioned. You need to swallow your ego. You are going to be uncertain. You're going to be insecure. So you got to approach it differently. As an entrepreneur, mental health and mental strength is going to be a big, big deal. And you got to be prepared for that. I'm trying to give you cautionary things which you got to be aware of while you make the decision to be an entrepreneur. Okay. So if you're willing to have that mental strength and to have that different mindset, if you've decided to be an entrepreneur, please type mindset in the comment box. Pour in your questions, guys. I am going to answer questions right now and sometimes, so keep your questions handy. Dr. Syed, I'm going to come back to you very soon. Let me just finish what I was going to say to you. Yeah, thank you so much for that. So let's review. What did I talk about when it comes to what you need to be prepared for? What will happen for sure? Number one, money reserves. Number two, inconsistent income. Number three, investment. Number four, different mindset. Number five, risk. Very clear. Risk. Let me tell you what I mean by risk. Obviously, there will be financial risk. There's no two ways about that. And that's a no-brainer. But I'm going to tell you there are other risks also. There will be a risk of your social life. There will be an impact on your social life. Be prepared for people to not give you the kind of consideration and the kind of time as before. Be prepared for you to not give other people as much consideration as much time before, because your working hours may be different, the kind of effort you might find it may be different, and people may criticize you. It'll have a social impact, it may have a family impact also if you're not even willing to balance things. And it is difficult right in the beginning. I'm not going to give you a lie that becoming an entrepreneur is the easiest thing. It is simple to learn. Can you do it? Yes, but it is a journey where you will constantly get out of your comfort zone. You will constantly get challenged, which means that there is effort and there's learning to go through. So you will have a social impact, you will have a family impact, you will have a money impact. You got to be prepared for this. And I'm not saying this to scare any of you away. I just want to give you a reality, because so many people want to become an entrepreneur, but they're not willing to pay the price to become an entrepreneur. And according to me, this is the price which needs to be paid. I am not saying that you cannot have a family life. I'm not saying that at all. I have a beautiful family life, but I'm telling you what, you got to alter your systems. It's not going to work like the way it works before, which means you got to be willing to make changes. But as a result of that, not everybody is going to be okay with your changes. At least your family may be, but your social circle may not understand you that much. Be okay with that. And that's a risk. The question to ask is, are you willing to take that risk? Because I know a lot of people who thrive on their social life, and if their social life may become compromised because they want to start a business, for them, their social life is more important than their business life. So I want you to be clear that these are risks which you will entertain. Financial risk, social risk, family risk. And business is a game of risk, my friend. So if you get what I'm saying, please type risk in the comment box. Thank you so much. So I've given you two sections of insights right now, and I'm going to summarize everything for all of you so it's consolidated. The first section when I started off this live was to focus on how do you know that you're ready? And I gave you 5 areas for you to consider that you're ready or not. Area number one is your job. Are you going through enough challenge? Are you achieving enough growth? Are you achieving enough satisfaction? If these three are not as per your expectation, maybe you're ready for business. Area number two, passion. Do you have an idea which you're passionate about, which can solve a significant need and address a significant problem, which can be monetized? Then maybe you're ready for business. Area number three, expertise. Through your experience in life, have you gained expertise which you can leverage to offer as a business solution? Then probably you're ready for business. Area number four, you want to make a bigger difference, which means that today you're not making that much difference. You want more of an impact. You want more of a reach to make a difference to more people. And that when you're ready for business. Number five, you have a unique idea, which is an invention, which is an innovation, which can be path breaking, which can be revolutionary. Then you are probably ready for business. And once you have made a decision that you are ready, what do you need to be prepared for? Number one, you got to be prepared with money reserves because you will have inconsistencies, and if the direct dependency of your life is on you, then you got to consider that. Number two, you got to be prepared for inconsistent income, and you should not measure your success only by your income in the beginning, but you got to take it all the way. Number three, you got to be ready for investment because business is a game of return on investment, and investment is equal to investment of money, of time, of energy, and of effort. It's not going to be the same. The rules are different because the game is different. Area number four, what you need to be prepared for is to have a completely different mindset. You got to be willing to be insecure. You got to be willing to be uncertain. You got to be willing to crash your ego, and you got to be willing to challenge your identity because who you were will not be the same. And area number five, which you got to be prepared for, is risk. You will go through financial risk. You will go through social risk. You will go through family risk. And that, according to me, will put you once all these checklists for you in whatever is relevant for you is considered, then I believe then you're ready to make the decision at the start point, the decision that you are ready to become an entrepreneur. Yeah. So, how many of you found this useful? Before I start answering questions, how many of you found whatever I shared useful for the last 40 minutes? If you found it useful, please type useful. Thank you so much, guys. So let me tell you, like I already told you before, on the 30th of May, it's a Saturday, between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m., to provide people an opportunity and a platform to understand how to utilize their passion and be ready to start a business. I'm doing an exclusive webinar. The link is already pinned up for you. If not, my colleague Avinash is going to take care of that. Do register for this webinar if you are keen to understand what does it take to start a profitable business. That's going to be my focus area, but I'm going to teach you what are the 4 mistakes which usually people make when they're starting their business, and there's a critical business mistakes they make while starting up. I'm talking about the start point, and I'm going to give you the 2 focus areas for you to focus on to start a business which you know for a fact can be profitable and can and help you to really make an impact and make more money. Because I'm telling you, there are so many businesses out there where even though the business idea may be great, people don't know how to go about doing it, and they're not making money. And because people make some critical mistakes which should be avoided. So the link is already there in the description of this live, as well as my colleague is definitely going to pin it up for you. So make sure that you register for this webinar. It's happening on the 30th of May. Okay, where the name of the webinar is called the Business Startup Webinar, where the focus is about how do you start a business which is profitable. So in the meanwhile, I'm open to questions right now. Let me address a few questions which have already been asked. I'm just browsing through the comments. Uh, Vijay Lakshmi asked me content design online webinar. When will take Karan? Vijay Lakshmi, I don't know what you're talking about, but if you're talking about helping you design content, I don't do this as a part of this right now. It is something which is done only for the Game Changers community. So probably connect over there, and probably go ahead and apply for the Game Changers community mastermind, where my business partner Rajiv obviously does a lot of masterminds for trainers and coaches, and that's when you get access to learning content design quite a bit. So that was for you, Vijay Lakshmi. Apart from that, let me see some other questions. Keep pouring in your questions, guys. I have about 5 to 10 minutes more for me to answer some questions. Dr. Syed, I'm coming back to you right now. The question you ask is that what's the difference in an entrepreneur and a solopreneur? Is there anything called intrapreneur and passionpreneur? Interesting. So there are different terminologies, but there's a fine line. Let me explain to you what I mean. So a solopreneur is an entrepreneur. Okay. An entrepreneur may not be a solopreneur. That's the clear difference. Any solopreneur is an entrepreneur. Let me explain to you first what is a solopreneur. A solopreneur is a business owner who's a one-man show. That's all. Which means that they only do marketing, they only do sales, they only do operations, they only handle customer complaints. Probably they have one or two people to support them, but basically the entire business is run by them. So a solopreneur is also an entrepreneur. But an entrepreneur may not necessarily be a one-man show. An entrepreneur can have a team, can have 5 people, can have 10 people, can have 50 people, can have 1,000 people. So they're both entrepreneurs. It's just that the team size. Here's my definition, okay? I have 4 categories of entrepreneurs the way I qualified. Category number 1 is a solopreneur. These are all entrepreneurs. Category number 1 is a solopreneur, which is a one-man show. Category number 2 is a micropreneur. They are also entrepreneurs itself. A micropreneur is anybody who has between 2 to say 40 or 50 people in their organization. They're micro. Yeah. A SME or an SMB, which is a small and medium business, is, according to me, and this is purely my definition, this is not according to any kind of body, this is my segregation. I just want to make it very clear to all of you. An SMB is someone who has more than 50 employees, probably up to say 500 or 800 employees. 500 is good enough. So that's a small and medium business. And any business above 500 to 800, all the way up to say, any number would qualify according to me under a corporate organization. Essentially, they're all entrepreneurs. Okay. So a solopreneur, Dr. Syed, is a single man army. Basically, that's it. Now, your other question, intrapreneur. So an intrapreneur is not the business owner. An entrepreneur owns the business. An intrapreneur is basically someone who ultimately is not the owner of the business, but has decision-making powers within the business to run the business. Say, for example, you are the owner of the business and you hire, say, a CEO, or you hire, say, a general manager who's running the entire business for you. That person is an intrapreneur, which basically means that within the business, they have the ability to run the business. They have complete authority, but they don't own the business. That's an intrapreneur. So an entrepreneur is not an entrepreneur. I hope you get the difference. What's a passionpreneur? Now, passionpreneur is just a new fancy word which has come out, which makes sense. But a passionpreneur is basically someone who converts their passion into a business. That's about it. All passionpreneurs are entrepreneurs. But passionpreneur basically means that you are doing a business which you're passionate about. It's a new age millennial thing which has really come out, to be very honest right now. Essentially, it's all entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is basically you starting up a business. Simple. All right. So, Dr. Syed, I hope that was straightforward and it answered your question for you. Rohan, he asked this question. How to deal with fear which creeps up intermittently in the journey of entrepreneurship? Is there a way to keep reminding yourself again and again to maintain inner focus? So I'll tell you what, Rohan, I completely agree with you that as an entrepreneur, you will have a lot of fear, and the fear comes because of uncertainty of what's going to happen next. Like, understand what is fear. You always have fear about something which you feel may happen in the future. And because obviously you don't know what will happen in the future, the fear comes in. Now, the degree of fear depends upon how certain you are about how the future is going to be. Which means that if you are not certain, which you cannot predict, you cannot control your business, then the fear will be high. If you can control your business, which means that you know exactly what's happening in all situations, then the fear will be low. The secret to make sure that the fear is low is for you to constantly learn. Because the people who have fear is because they don't have knowledge. When you have knowledge, you know. So you are able to control. But when you don't have knowledge, you don't know. And therefore the risk and the fear becomes high. So for you to maintain and remind yourself to focus is to constantly learn what is relevant in your business so that you can predict, so that you can make better decisions, and so that you can grow your business. So the answer for you, Rohan, is to constantly learn. You ask any entrepreneur out there, I'm telling you this, and I'm not saying this. Harvard Business School say this. They had released a statistical report about top 3 skills for becoming a successful entrepreneur. Number one skill, learning. Because as an entrepreneur, there is no end to your growth. And fear comes in when you don't know. So for the solution to don't know is to know, which is knowledge, which is learning. So Rohan, I hope that was useful for you. Questions. Let me see if you have any more questions. Pankaj, is chasing certainty in business income a block to business growth? No, Pankaj, definitely not. Okay. When I said that you're going to go through uncertainty, I said that with the intention that in the beginning, you may have uncertainty till you settle down your business model, till you're clear that all your business functions are working in the optimized manner, and till you know for a fact that you can forecast how many customers you have and how much money you're making. But as a business owner, it is important for you to have financial certainty, because if you're going to be in a situation where you don't know how much money you're going to make next month, forget next month. If you don't know how much money you're going to make over the next 6 months, I believe that you've not yet reached a stability stage. On the other hand, there are stages you need to go through when it comes to your entrepreneurship journey for you to reach that stage where you can be certain. I really believe when an entrepreneur starts off, they go through this phase of struggle where, business ideas are not validated, the business model is not in stage. And obviously at that point in time, because you're testing so much, you cannot have certainty of how much money you're going to make. After struggle, people go through a survival phase. And when I'm talking about survival phase, the need of the hour is for people to make enough money at that point of time to run the show. Making profits is not even in the picture. So still at that point in time, uncertainty is the question. But when people start proactively marketing, when business owners start building their business departments and the functions in a proper manner, that's when you reach the third stage, which is called stability. And in the stability phase, you will achieve your certainty, which means that at any given point of time, you will know for a fact in 6 months from now, what is the forecast of how much money you're going to make? Will it be 100% accurate? No, but you still have control. So that's the stage to get to, and then you think about scaling up. So Pankaj, that was for you. I hope you understood. But in simple words, it is an important milestone for you to achieve that certainty, and hands down, you should achieve that. Okay. Can doctors be entrepreneurs? Ayushi, the sad reality is that I don't think doctors are getting their due. Doctors should be entrepreneurs. I'm saying this openly. I work with so many doctors, I handhold them. I know there are these so-called restrictions which doctors have about advertising, which is great, but advertising is very different from marketing. But yes, doctors can be entrepreneurs because at the end of the day, they're also running a business, and you don't have to compromise on any kind of ethical standards for you to become an entrepreneur. In fact, let me tell you straightforward. I'm saying this because I work with a lot of doctors one-to-one to help them to scale up their businesses. What is missing for doctors today is that they're great practitioners. Okay, they've taken an oath to save people's lives. But on the other hand, they don't understand the business side of the business. And that's where I guess they get, they take a setback and they're not able to leverage. They give their time, they give their energy, they spend their money trying to make a difference. And I think the doctors deserve to become good entrepreneurs. And that's why they need to learn too. So to answer your question, definitely Ayushi, doctors can become entrepreneurs. Let me see what other questions are there. How one can be sure that he or she is ready to be an entrepreneur? When can they declare them as an entrepreneur? So whatever I've just shared with you so far, Jayashree, were indicators for you to decide whether you're ready or not. But apart from that, I really believe that once you have tested your business idea and you know for a fact that your idea with validated facts, with validated testing, has the potential to be scaled up and make you money by making a difference, that's when you're truly ready. And honestly, that's the reason why I'm doing the webinar, which I spoke about. It's called a business startup webinar, where I'm going to be helping you to show you what mistakes not to make and to start off in the right manner where you can actually start your business. So I really recommend that you register for my webinar. The link is already pinned there. It's happening on the 30th of May between 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And it's a completely free webinar. In that webinar, I'm going to be sharing with you the 4 mistakes which people make before starting a business, and what are the focus areas you should be focusing on to start a business which can be profitable. And that will give you a lot more insights than what I've already shared to know that you're ready to take the business journey. So Jayashree, please make sure you register. Let me see what other questions are there. Okay, Dr. Syed, you said number 1 is learning. What is 2 and 3? Okay, number 1 is learning. Number 2 is selling. Yeah, because as an entrepreneur, hands down. So sorry, my bad. Number 2 is teaching. Number two is teaching. My bad. Number one is learning. Number two is teaching, because when you want to be successful, teaching is a very important skill for you to have, because when you grow on your business, you will need to have team members, you need to hire, and only when you teach them can they also become as good as you. So number one is learning, number two is teaching, number three is selling. Because as an entrepreneur, no matter what, whatever background you're going to come from, you need to sell. And any person who is an entrepreneur who feels that selling is not for them, according to me, will never become a successful entrepreneur. Because whatever may the situation, I'm not just talking about selling to your customers. You got to sell in some situation or the other. Ultimately, that's a default skill as an entrepreneur, because ultimately that's how you're going to make money. Period. So number three skill selling, number two skill teaching, number one skill learning. Dr. Syed, I hope I answered that question for you. Venkat, waiting for your marketing strategies webinar. Venkat, I don't do any marketing strategies webinar. I want to be very clear about that. Okay, me and my business partners, we only focus on doing webinars and to help people to scale up their business. I don't do exclusive marketing based webinars for sure. I do marketing programs, but that is for the people whom I handle. So I don't do it as a webinar format. I'm going to continue to do it in the longer format itself. Okay, so with that, guys, I think we've come to the end of today's Facebook Live. I hope that you get a lot of insights. I'm going to remind you again, the business startup webinar is happening on the 30th of May. It's happening between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. It's a Saturday. The focus of the webinar is to ensure that you understand what are the 4 mistakes which usually people make before starting a profitable business, and what is the right thing to do to correct every single mistake. And I'm going to give you the focus areas you got to focus on to make sure that you start a profitable business. Do register for the webinar, where I really believe that what you will learn and understand is how to build a profitable business. In the meanwhile, guys, share your comments, share your questions. I'm more than happy to answer as many questions as possible, even beyond this live. I keep putting out a lot of content to answer specific questions based on entrepreneurship. So looking forward to seeing you guys really, really soon. Looking forward to seeing you at the Business Startup webinar. Till then, stay safe, take care, bye-bye.